Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another epic episode of Mythic Banter. We're here today to tell you all of the things that actually matter in the gaming industry, or at least the things that matter to us in the gaming industry, and hopefully keep you guys a little bit entertained. Now, as per usual, if you enjoy Mythic Banter, the one thing that we do request, we don't want your money, not right now anyways, maybe that comes later, you know?
Yeah.
We don't want your
fleece them
money.
later.
Yeah, well, we don't want your money, but we want you to smash that like button, all right? That really helps us out in the algorithm, helps us break out so that we can eventually monetize the channel and actually pay our editor, Naomi, some money. That would be awesome because she's going to be making most of the monetization money because she's doing most of the work. We're just sitting in here chatting it up and whatnot. So, you know, those likes really help out, and subscribing and all of that good stuff. And before we jump into all of the topics, I would just like to send out some words to the people right now in Florida that are still suffering the blowback from Hurricane Milton. I hope you guys are all doing good, and hopefully if you guys got electricity and access to the internet, maybe this podcast will help you pass the time, because I know that a lot of people right now do not have power and they're dealing with a lot of terrible situations. I have a friend of mine who actually lives there right at ground zero where the stuff happened. So yeah, I hope you guys all pull through. You guys make sure to stay safe out there. And yeah, that's my very long-winded intro. How you doing, Ekalon?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. I just want to say I'm seconding everything that Burkon said there about Florida. Thoughts and prayers go out to all the people there. If you've lost family, I'm so sorry to hear that. And yeah, I hope that this is the last of the big storms for this year, and hopefully for a few years to come. So, you know, big love from us here at Mythic Banter. Now, on to, you know, the first topic, because
straight up, because we got a lot of topics.
I have some good news for all of you. We have no woke DI politics bullshit today on the list, really.
Hey, thank God.
The gaming industry has decided, nah, fuck it, we'll take a break from all this stuff. It's all just gaming news today.
Thank God, dude. I feel like every time I look up gaming news, it's just like, oh, we need to talk about all this. And it's like, oh, God, I understand, but Jesus, I just want to talk about games, man.
Yeah, dude.
Video games.
It feels good, you know? It feels really, really good.
You know that this week I've been getting absolutely pounded into the ground?
Why?
Because I've been replaying through Monster Hunter World and Iceborne, and I finally reached the last final monster of Iceborne, which is Fatalis, and he's just been like, hey, like, pounding me into.
But I mean, you've killed him before, no?
Yes, I have, but it's hard. It's very hard.
Just kill him,
but
bro.
I like it. Yeah, it's good though.
Kill him.
It's very good. You know that this is one of the reasons why Monster Hunter World Iceborne got review bombed. People review
because of the final boss.
Because of not just the final boss, it was the two final monsters, which were, by the way, were free updates to a game where you had already had like over 1,000 hours of gameplay, and they're just like, we're gonna just put these two other monsters in there, and people were like, oh, this monster's too hard. I'm gonna go review bomb the game now.
I mean, people will review bomb for just about everything. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, you know?
But you want to know the funny part about this one, and I will always make fun of people for this. It's that this was one point where the game explains a mechanic to you specific to that boss, but it's like, you have to use an elemental weapon. And people are like, I don't want to! Like, literally, people threw this out. I don't want to use an elemental weapon. And then they review bombed the game. Because people got used to using a very specific weapon type, which is raw damage with blast, which is just like you hit the monster a bunch of times and eventually a little explosion comes out, deals a bit of damage.
So it's kind of like similar to Bleed in Elden Ring.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of like Bleed in Elden Ring. So people were used to using that specific type of weapon, and they only knew how to play with that specific type of weapon. And the moment the game says, okay, now play with an elemental weapon, people are like, I don't wanna. I'm gonna review bomb the game now. Because the funny thing was, if you didn't use an elemental weapon, the boss would just kill you. He would just straight up kill you. And I love that Capcom's just like, oh, you don't want to do things the way we say? Okay, you're dead now. But the best part
that's a good way to solve it.
you can die 3 times.
Yeah.
And not 3 times. You can die twice and still beat the boss. And so people were telling me, the only thing I can't deal with is the big explosion that kills you. And I was like, no, because if that was the only thing you couldn't deal with, you would still kill the boss. You would just die twice, but then kill him.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is side tangent.
Yeah.
Fun stuff.
Well, good luck to Rurikon and his adventures on Fatalis or whatever the hell.
Yeah, Fatalis.
Fatalis. But we have to talk about something that I think is going to make you very either angry or happy.
Okay.
City Skyline, produced or published by Paradox Interactive, once one of the, I dare say, one of the most respected publishers in gaming, at least among the bigger publishers. They were pretty good.
Among their niche, which is like strategy sims and stuff like that, right? Turn-based 4X, that type of thing, I think is what they did.
You know, and they were pretty big. Just don't make a mistake here, guys. It wasn't like Paradox was like one of those small indie developer publishers. They were, even though a lot of their companies were AA, maybe not even necessarily AAA, they were huge. Like some of their games went fucking viral. So, you know, they made their money, but they have fell from grace, specifically with City Skyline 2, which was very, very bad.
Oh, yeah, because I remember that we had City Skylines 1, which people absolutely loved because it was basically the true successor of SimCity, right?
Yeah,
that's basically what Skylines was.
It was pretty fun, yeah.
I remember that people loved that game. And then Skylines 2 came out, and it was a goddamn buggy mess, and it had less features than Skylines 1. It was terrible.
Dude, it was genuinely unplayable. Like, Gamers Nexus did an entire video on this, where they would lower the graphics from high to low, and it would use more resources. Like the graphics would actually increase on low. Like everything was just wrong in this game. Like clearly,
I remember
QA was done.
Was it? Didn't it also have like an always online component to it, or am I confusing that with one of the latest SimCity things?
I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm not familiar. I'm not entirely sure because I never played. But
I definitely remember that Skylines 1 was super, super well liked by everybody. Everybody's always talking like, "Oh man, this is amazing. This is what we've always wanted from a city builder." And then Skylines 2 comes out, and it was just absolutely smashed. Nobody liked it, and I remember I don't know if it was their director or somebody who was in a position of authority basically saying, guys, it's fine because this is technically early access, but it wasn't flagged as early access or whatever it was. And then she started saying, oh, but we'll fix it. Don't worry about it. We're definitely going to fix it. And then they never fixed it because they weren't able to fix it because it was just like a freaking garbage
Well, here
file.
is how scumbag they were. And I am 90% sure this is exactly what happened. The game is fucked. Right, the game is not working. People are very angry, and they announce a DLC.
That's the classic. That's the classic, dude. It's like, guys, listen. We know you guys have a problem that we created, but we're here for you. We're going to sell you the solution. It's like me coming up to you, shooting you in the foot, and then being like, but don't worry, I'm a surgeon.
But here's the interesting thing. The DLC doesn't fix the game. It just launches seaside properties in the broken game. So you still can't play the fucking game. And you're not paying for the DLC. So they pulled the DLC. They apologized for being completely brain dead or whatever. Yeah. They pulled the DLC, and since then, the game has basically been limping along, right? Yeah. The game isn't making any names for itself.
By the way, guys, this stuff that we're telling guys, this is all old news. Like, we're talking like year, maybe even 2 years old. I forget how long ago this was, but it was a while back,
But it is relevant.
It is relevant
the
now.
Topic.
Yeah, go ahead. Bring us in.
Because now the executive of Paradox, one of the executives, basically in an interview said, you know what? Gamers' expectations has really gone up in the last few years. And gamers are far less interested in accepting we'll fix it later. as a basic reply to buggy, broken games. And I can see Rurikon getting super excited about that.
Listen, this is one of those situations where it's a late gamer W, which is like it took us a long time to get here, but we're finally here. And let me tell you, I couldn't be happier about it because I feel like I've been screaming this stuff from the rooftops since like 5 years ago, where I'm like, guys, these monetization practices they're doing to us are terrible. Guys, the way in which a lot of these games are releasing is friggin' atrocious and unacceptable. Guys, we need to not... And people are like, money! Woo! Let's go! Buy everything! Buy all the things! And finally, people are stopping, and I'm like, yes! Yes, this has been coming up for so long, and it makes me happy. I want every single person that works at marketing and gaming to know that whenever these things happen, it makes me very happy. It brings a warmth to my heart, you know?
Yeah.
Whenever I see a lot of these companies that just release buggy messes and just like absolute garbage and then don't do anything to actually try and fix stuff, it warms my heart whenever they lose money, whenever their stock prices start crumbling down. It's like, yes, this makes me happy. It makes me so happy.
I think you see the problem with fundamentally, and the reason gamers are done. It used to be that games that really pushed the envelope, you know, so a company that's trying to make a game that is super out there in terms of what it tries to deliver, they could sometimes be a little bit buggy, a little bit not working exactly. I think players were always very accommodating and going, no, it's fine, you know, fix it, we'll wait a bit, it's fine.
And and here's the thing, I can understand why. Because, you know, we've been there, right, Akalon? You and me. Because, like, we play World of Warcraft, and we see a shitty expansion launch, and we're like, bro, what is this garbage? And people will defend it to their dying breath.
Oh,
and I was like,
100%.
Why? Why would you? No, we need to criticize it, because otherwise it won't improve. If we don't criticize things, they don't improve. And people would defend it and buy it, and it's like, no, it'll get fixed at 100%. They'll fix it. I know it. And then they never fix it, and then the other expansion comes out and over and over. And it's like, so we're there. We're right there alongside. Whenever people, like, for instance, the City Skylines thing, there's probably a lot of players like, but this is the only one. SimCity's fucking dead. There's nothing else. This is the only one we have. So I understand where you're coming from, because, like, me personally and Akalon were like, there's no other World of Warcraft. There's one. And it sucks, and they won't fix it.
It needs to be fixed. And if you approach it as if you have to treat the developers with kid gloves, then this just happens more and more often. And that's exactly what happened in the gaming industry. Yeah. Eventually, Ubisoft and EA became the fucking kings of day one patches because the game launches broken as fuck. Day one patch doesn't fix the brokenness. Day 2 patch kind of fix some of the brokenness, maybe creates a bunch of new brokenness. And it's only after like months that you finally have a game that is without bugs. And the problem was, it used to be, as I said, it used to be that they genuinely launched the game after months of QA testing and making sure that the game is good. Then they launch it to the overwhelming majority of the player base. And I want to put this into perspective, because I realize there's a lot of people that don't understand this. And there's a lot of people that sort of think, no, if there's any bugs, that's unacceptable. Guys, on console, if there are bugs, lazy fucking company or scumbag company. On PC, it is physically impossible to have a launch of a game without bugs. And the reason for it is you have thousands of different iterations of a PC that can be built. Yeah. From the kind of graphics card you're using, the model of the graphics card, the brand of the graphics card, to the RAM, to the motherboard, to everything changes how the game is going to, because all of that has to be coded in, because they all operate a little bit different. Even the same brand of RAM, the same RAM, same speed, same everything, can have different clock speeds.
Yeah,
and then you're fucked because
especially because that also comes off of whether or not your own the motherboard that you've chosen for your computer supports the clock speeds of the RAM that you also buy. Because a lot of people it says here DDR4 RAM for this motherboard. I'm gonna buy DDR4 RAM, and then you look at the list. It's like there's 10 different clock speeds. Everybody's like, they told me it was like Lego. And it is, but you still have to read which parts fit together.
Not everything fits with everything, and the games work the same way. You can't just install it. So there's going to be bugs. But this used to be a thing that most players accepted because the game would work on most of the mainstream systems, and it would really bug out on like some of the older systems. Some of the more niche systems would have some bugs, but everyone else could play the game. And then it became a thing of, since gamers tend to accept the fact that we'll launch now and fix later, they just started doing that.
Yeah.
Instead of running the game through proper QA and tasting the game, they just went, nah, fuck it, we'll relaunch it, we'll launch it, we'll fix it later.
The thing was, we had two examples in the industry, which was Final Fantasy XIV and No Man's Sky. These were two examples where, people were able to launch these games, and eventually over time they fix them. But the thing that a lot of people forget is like, this wasn't something that they planned. So for instance, No Man's Sky didn't plan to launch like this, but because of the fact that they had the Sony partnership, they were being pressured. They're like, well, we got to release something. So they released the game in the state that it was, which wasn't perfect. But I still enjoyed No Man's Sky when it released. But regardless of that, the point is they worked and worked and worked. And right now, No Man's Sky, Hello Games is one of the most respected developers in the industry because of the fact that they've spent 10 years updating that game to the point where it exceeds any expectation that people might have had when the game launched. Does it excuse its bad launch? No. But they've given you 10 years of free updates with hundreds upon hundreds of hours of content. Okay?
Yeah, you bought this game 10 years ago.
Me?
You've been getting updates. Not you. I'm talking about someone who bought this game 10 years ago.
I got it for free.
Well, obviously. That creator privilege shining through. But someone bought this game 10 years ago. They've been receiving updates and changes to the game. And we're talking, in some cases, major overhauls to how the game works.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
For free. These are things that fucking EA would sell as expansion packs for premium, right? And they just give it to you.
Yeah.
They don't charge you anything for it. So clearly, this is... But someone said something in one of the comments on one of our previous shows, which I thought was so well put. They said you can't use No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk 2077 and games like 14, these and 14 as examples because
of what to do.
Because from their perspective, these games already had the skeleton, the foundation of a very good game, just with some bad decisions made along the way. So players could see there's something really good here. They just need to unlock that. But then you look at like Assassin's Creed or Star Wars Outlaws and you go, dude, I don't even want the fucking skeleton. You keep everything. I don't want any of this, so I don't care what you do to fix it. I don't want it.
But the biggest thing is that a lot of these publishers, they saw things as like, well, this is a business model that we can use. Yeah. And it's like, these are not examples to follow. These are redemption stories. It's almost like, some guy kills another guy in the middle of the street. Then he goes to jail, completely reforms himself, becomes like a pastor in his local community, whatever, becomes like one of the nicest people in the world. This doesn't mean that you should go out and kill somebody to try and do the same thing. Because it's kind of like what a lot of these publishers are doing. They're like, oh, just put it out. We'll fix it later and it'll be fine. And it's not a problem at all. And it's whatever. It's like, no, this is not a business model for you to follow. These were mistakes that were made. And these companies had to work to redeem their image in the eyes of the public. This is not something that you want ever.
Dude, the other problem also is most of these guys launched, like City Skylines. They launched and then all they tried to do was just sort of fix the code. Cyberpunk and CD Projekt Red spent $168 million
Yep.
fixing Cyberpunk. Like, they went balls to the wall trying to fix this game, and they fixed it, right? It's one of the greatest games I've ever played. I love that game. But fundamentally, I'm glad that executives are starting to wake up to this nonsense and realizing that gamers are just, we're sick and tired of putting up with it.
The thing is, I don't think they're waking up to it because, like, oh, gamers seem upset. Oh, this so bad. No, they're waking up to it because their wallets are hurting. It's like, oh man, my wallet. It's like, oh, this is not good because people actually stopped giving them money. And it was about time. And here's the thing that we got to keep in mind now, because I feel like over the last 5 years, we've always had this mentality among the gaming community, which was like, oh, there's nothing I can do. This is never going to change. Nothing's ever going to change. And then you have people like you and me screaming from the rooftops, you can stop giving them money. And people are like, I'm just one person. It's not going to make any difference. Yeah. Look at Ubisoft. One person at a time, and their stock went from like $80 to $2.
Yeah.
They're about to be like Tencent's about to pick them off the bargain bin right now, bro. Tencent's like, oh, I think I'll buy Ubisoft. With the money from our the money from our CEO's breakfast is about to buy Ubisoft.
Here's $1. Give us the fucking company.
Yeah, there you
go. But you're obviously right. And this is one of the reasons why I've always been a proponent of the free market. And I love the free market because of exactly this. Consumers, gamers need to learn we have the power. Exactly. The power is in our hands. It lies in your wallet. When you buy these games and you go, well, I'm just one person, my purchase isn't going to make a difference, you are part of the problem. And then it doesn't help that you sit here and complain about, but why? No, you bought the game. You supported this.
This is like
if everyone just started taking responsibility and saying, I will not buy this because I do not support this, then what happens to Ubisoft starts happening across the fucking board. And before you know it, gaming is good again because these guys want to make money. That's all they give a shit about.
It's like you remember the whole situation with microtransactions and people start going like, oh, well, why do you care what I do with my money? Because what you do with your money is impacting my enjoyment of this video game. And people are like, it doesn't affect you in any way. Yes, it does. Because the more you spend money on this, the more they make things like this. And this, by the way, is something that you already acknowledge is bad. You remember the situation where I made that big post and then Asmongold even reacted to it? The post where I talked about the World of Warcraft boost? This is that right there. Whenever I was like, guys, this boost is terrible for the video game, people are like, it doesn't affect you. Yes, it does. Because instead of fixing, not just me, it affects everybody. Because instead of fixing the leveling experience and making it better, they're selling you the solution to a problem that they created. And how your brains can't understand this is beyond me. It's like, I don't know if your neurons aren't firing right. I don't know if you have an issue. Maybe you have more money than brains. If you think that spending 70 euros on a fucking character boost is a reasonable thing. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You're just an idiot. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah. I do what I want with my money. Yeah, you can ruin games with your money. Keep at it, idiot.
I think it's not so much that people don't have the brains for it. It's more a case of you and I are paid to think through these things. And humans are super bad at thinking of the consequences of consequences. So humans tend to look at something and go, well, what's so bad about this? What could possibly go wrong here? But they don't think about, okay, if you do this, what happens after this? And what does that cause then for that? Because remember, it is an exponential approach. If you allow $70 character boosts, what else happens? And then remember, the other things that happen will have the exact same impact as the $70 character boost. So it builds up exponentially. It gets worse exponentially. But most people don't spend resources actually thinking about what could potentially be those consequences of things because they're busy with other things. They're busy raising their kids. They're working all day. They just want to get home and play a bit of video games, you know? So they don't think about the consequences of the things that they do. So I fully understand it, but I do hope in time people will become even more sensitive to this stuff and will start fucking them up even more. Yep. Talking about fucking up and fucking up in a big way and sticking to this scumbaggery that is Ubislop. Did you hear that Ubisoft is getting sued?
Yeah.
And for data theft, dude. Like, I mean, what?
Listen, Ubisoft looks at gamers like a farmer looks at his cattle. He's like, oh, man. These sheeps are looking pretty friggin' good right now, dude. These sheeps are looking nice and plumpy. Let me go get my shears and let me shear them up, bro. I'm gonna make so many sweaters. Gonna make all these bundles of wool. It's gonna be so amazing. That's how Ubisoft looks at players. Okay, so first they're like, okay, guys, we're gonna sell you that 3-day early access, okay? We're gonna sell you that 3-day early access.
And then you're gonna fuck it up so people can't even play the 3-day early access.
And then we're gonna fuck it up so that you lose your thing. And then it's like, and we're also gonna cut away little bits of your game to sell it back to you because fuck you in particular. And then we're also going to separate this game into 50 different versions of it so that you don't even know what you're getting with each of these and you'll want to get the most expensive one. And then we're going to make it so that the most appealing one looks like the one where you have to subscribe to our service. And you want to know why we want you to subscribe to our service? So that we can then take your data and sell it. Hey-o! Let's go.
And sell it to Meta. Yeah, dude,
like, because you know, it's the same. It's the sheep is the same thing. It's like, they get the wool from you, but then they, can you get sheep's milk? I forget if you can get sheep's milk.
Yeah. Sheep's milk. Sheep's milk is what makes feta cheese, I think.
Okay, so you can get wool from the sheep, then you can get milk from the sheep, and then you slaughter them, and you can get meat from the sheep. So that's what Ubisoft. It's the 3 sheep special. They get the wool, they get the milk, and then they fucking kill you and eat you. That's what Ubisoft does.
Yeah. Dude, what? Okay, so most of you might say, but Akko, doesn't all of them take our data?
Yes.
With your consent.
Yes.
As by law. So by law, if you sign up to a company, they have to ask you. You know that little box that you tick? Are we allowed to share your information with third-party partners? That is by law required. You have to be able to say no. You're not allowed to do that. Ubisoft didn't have that. And so what ended up happening was someone figured out, hold up, why is all of our data with Meta when we're not signed up with Meta, we're signed up with Ubisoft? And then this is where this lawsuit comes from. Ubisoft saw the golden opportunity to say, fuck your data. Now, I know a lot of people live in a world where they go, man, I don't even care about my data. I don't care who has access to my data. And look, I can appreciate that. I can appreciate it because technically speaking, I was speaking to this other guy the other day because I have all of my bank cards on Google Pay, right? Just like easy Google Pay virtual cards, not real bank cards, but my virtual cards are on Google Pay. And someone said, no, I will never share my data with Google. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Google knows exactly where you are at all times of the day. Your location is turned on. They know when you're going to KFC because they have a fucking Maps app that tells them exactly where KFC is.
Yeah,
they know what you're doing. You truly think that they don't share all of your data anyways? Your bank doesn't sell your data to fucking... They probably do. They just don't tell anyone about it. So please, just fuck it. But one thing we expect is to be told that we're getting fucked. We don't mind the fact that they're bending us over and fucking us. We just like to be told.
So basically,
and they didn't tell.
These gentlemen are going up to Ubisoft right now and they're telling them, hey, listen, Ubisoft, am I wearing lipstick right now? That's what they're asking you. Am I wearing lipstick? Ubisoft's like, No, why? Because why are you trying to fuck me then?
Dude, I'm reminded of that. It's a South Park episode where Cartman asks his mom to buy him, I think it's a tablet or some shit, and he wants the Apple one, but his mom won't buy him the Apple, so she wants to buy him some cheap knockoff. And he's like, well, he throws this massive fit.
Cartman, I can't believe that.
Yeah, he throws this massive fit in the shopping center, and his mom's like, "I'm not buying this for you." And he keeps saying, "Why do you want to fuck me, Mom? Why do you want to fuck me?" in front of the whole shopping center. And then they get into the car and they're driving home, and he says, "I'm sorry, Mommy. Can we stop at KFC and get something to eat? Because I like to eat something before I get fucked." No, I like to be wined and dined before I get fucked. And this is exactly it, right?
Oh,
if you're gonna fuck me, at least wine and dine me a little, you know?
It's like the Pulp Fiction scene is like, what does Marcellus Wallace look like? It's like, I don't know. Does he look like a bitch? It's like, I don't think so. Does he look like a bitch? No. Then why'd you try to fuck him like a bitch?
But this is what Ubisoft is, right?
Yeah.
It is just, at this point, so those of you that don't know, there is currently massive talks between the Guillemot brothers, the founders of Ubisoft.
Wait, stop. Listen, stop. This is, I've been listening to so many content creators say that word, and it's so triggering to me on a primal level.
Here comes the French fucks with their
say it again.
Stupid
say it again.
Guillemot.
Guillemot. It's not that hard.
Fuck yourself. There are owls in there. Dude, it's spelled Guillemot.
No, it's Guillemot. That's it.
So what do we do with the owl? Do we just fuck off the owls in the name? Where's the owl? Where did the owls go?
It's the way that the French say it. Guillemot. That's it.
Yeah, the French can go fuck themselves.
Hey!
I'm not saying it that way.
Hey! The French are nice people. You leave the French alone. The crap.
They can take their silent owls and fuck off back to their country. I'm Guillemot. That's what I'm saying.
Fais chier, espèce de connard. That means.
Well, anyway,
you know that's
those
a basic.
Two brothers,
listen,
the top G's. Yeah.
Listen, you know that's one of the most used. At least it was a couple of years ago. One of the most used French insults. You know what that means? Tu me fais chier.
No.
You make me want to shit myself. You're so bad. You make me want to shit myself. I love knowing insults from other countries. It's hilarious, dude. Anyway,
but the G brothers,
yes.
The G brothers are in talks, serious talks with Tencent in order to go private. That's basically the plan at this point, because Ubisoft, from what I've heard and from what I've been able to find, Ubisoft at this point is basically unsavable. If they remain public, it seems like the investors are hell-bent on driving this company into the dirt. Right? So Ubisoft has to go private. They're choosing Tencent to do that. I mean, that's like going from one room where you just got absolutely fucking fucked to going into the next room and there stands two guys with like 7 inchers ready to spit roast you. It's not better. It's different. It's a new adventure, but it is not better. So this is where we are now.
Listen, I really hope that Ubisoft goes private, but not the type of private that people are thinking about. I want them to go private as in just disappear. Just go
keep that shit to yourself.
Exactly. Go lock yourselves in a room somewhere and just disappear forever. Like go real private, okay? Not just private from an investment standpoint. Just go real private and never come back. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. All right, so the next topic, I don't even know what the fuck to call this. I don't know anything about this, so I'm just going to give this to Rurikon. He literally wrote Metaphor Refantazio. I don't know what the hell this is.
Metaphor Refantazio. So I kind of figured with all of these bad news, right? We're getting all these bad news from City Skylines making terrible games, and Paradox making terrible games, and finally realizing, oh, gamers aren't going to put up with this shit. This is bad. And then we have Ubisoft that is imploding, and that I just want to make sure that people understand. Every time I hear bad news about Ubisoft, there's a big smile on my face. Okay.
Yep.
Just I want you to picture this face like this. If you're watching
I'm tired of smiling, actually. It's been such a good time that I have that. You know when you smile too much and it starts hurting? Yeah. That's how I feel these days with Ubisoft.
With all of these things going on, it's easy to always get those, a ton of videos of people saying, gaming industry is imploding, blah, 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 blah. We're guilty of that too, by the way. A lot of our clickbaity titles is like, it's all over.
It's over, boys. Pack it up.
But it's like, it's nice to see that there are people out there that are actually still making good games. So Metaphor Refantazio is a JRPG, turn-based.
Okay.
So these are games that will usually give you like easy 100 hours of gameplay to go through, turn-based, super fun. These guys, this is from Atlas, and these guys already make like really, really cool games. They've made the Persona series, they've made the Shin Megami Tensei series, and the first time that I ever played one of these games was Persona 4. I absolutely love Persona 4. It was a fantastic game. And then I've also played a bit of Persona 5. I never got around to finishing it because it's very long. I can't make content for it. It's frustrating. But, Persona 5 is awesome. Persona 3 also released. I think it was earlier this year, or was it last year? I forget. But Persona 3 released. Also, most people really enjoyed it. And Metaphor Refantazio comes out with a Metacritic score of 93.
Dude, the Western developers are fucking cooked.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, because this is obviously an Eastern development.
The East just keeps blowing it out of the water.
They just keep coming out with bangers. And you know how Square Enix was saying, like, oh my God, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, we didn't make enough money, We don't know how Metaphor Refantazio is going to sell because it comes out the day that we're recording this podcast. But what I do know is that I've seen the overall sentiment for this game from people that have played the demo, which, by the way, I think the demo is like 10 hours of content or something ridiculous like that.
Holy
people
shit.
Were saying. So
whatever happened to demos? Like, dude.
Yeah, I know, exactly. And here's the thing. Like, listen to how good this demo is. This is a demo that you can play for like 10 hours, and then your save file goes flawlessly into the final game.
Oh, man.
It's just like, you don't even waste that time. You're just like, oh yeah, all the stuff that I've done, this just goes to the final game. Okay, that's great. So it's like you have this great demo that you can play. It imports into the final game. Everybody, as far as I'm aware, everybody that plays the demo absolutely loves it. I haven't gotten around to playing it myself. I do want to. It's just I've been busy. And the game comes out today. And it's just nice to see that we're still getting like good games being released. It's a success story, And here's the thing. I guarantee you that unlike, say, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which Square Enix says, oh, this didn't meet our expectations, blah, 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 blah. We spent God knows how many million. I guarantee you that this game is going to costed like a fraction of what Rebirth cost to develop.
Oh, of course.
I guarantee you, because it's like, this isn't a game that looks like, oh my God, this is the best visual fidelity, all the 4K, but presentation-wise, it looks amazing, which is what is important. It's got a cool art style, it's got cool turn-based gameplay, and it's just a solid banger, and it's just great to see. That's the main reason why I wanted to bring it up. Refantazio. Check out the demo. Like, if you guys are curious, just check out the demo. It's free. You don't have to buy the game. Always check out the demo first, because I think it's just a cool overall game.
Yeah, well, I'll play it over the weekend, and I'm sure Rurikon will as well, and then we'll give you an update next week on, well, not next week, the week after next week, because we only record next week, and then you see it on Monday. Another bit of, I guess I'm going to call it good news because, well, we don't know shit about shit. But Dreamhaven is finally doing their first ever game. For a while, people actually thought what's that game? Yeah, Stormgate was actually by Dreamhaven, but it turns out no. Stormgate was by a bunch of developers that left Blizzard, but they were not associated with Dreamhaven. Even though early rumors suggested that they were going to publish the Dreamhaven, But Dreamhaven is finally getting ready to publish their first game called Thunderfolk. Thunderfolk appears to be kind of like a turn-based game. They do say that it's a turn-based adventure game. The one sad part of it, though, is if you look at the graphics of the game, because they had one screenshot of it, it is so clearly made for mobile. Because the game will be available on mobile, and you will be able to play with people on console, mobile, and PC at the same time because of how the game looks.
So there's also another game that they've already announced that they're going to be publishing. So this is not their first one. The one that they've announced was Linked Banner of the Spark. Yeah, Linked Banner of the Spark. And I knew, because like when you said it was the first one, I was like, no, I've seen another one. It's like this. It's almost like a Diablo style type of game with some survival and crafting elements.
I think the reason the article said first is I think Thunderfolk is coming out soon.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, so it's like the first published game. This is going to be the one that comes out first. And again, it's made for mobile, so way to downgrade all quality almost fucking immediately, and also make me go, so how much are we going to be fleeced here?
Is it free to play as well?
I have no idea. I've not seen anything, but it might probably be. I can probably check, but the website doesn't say anything about that other than you can wishlist it on Steam. No, you can wishlist it on Steam. Yeah, so it is launching on Steam. It doesn't say that it's going to be free to play. This is the exact what they say the game is going to be. And it does actually look beautiful. Sorry, I never even clicked through to the Steam page. I literally just clicked through to the Steam page. And you look at it, yes, you can see that it is absolutely mobile-esque graphics, but it's kind of cute. It's it's got a kind of interesting style based on what I see here. We'll have to wait and see, but they say here, this is their Steam description, Thunderfolk is a couch co-op turn-based tactical RPG where your phone is the controller. Up to 4 players will pick one of 6 unique
so it's not
bosses.
A mobile game. The phone is the controller.
Yeah, but I mean, if your phone is the controller, isn't it a mobile game then?
No, because you're still playing it on the TV, but I don't know.
I think you can play it.
I just think that, like, look, we have mouse and keyboard. Mm-hmm. We have game pads. Why do you want me to play with my phone? I don't want to play on my phone. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Actually, what they say here is the game will be available on Steam, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and Nintendo Switch. So it is actually not on mobile. Yeah. But then what the fuck is the point of the phone?
It acts as your controller. They're doing something fancy, which is like, listen, let me tell you guys something, okay? Mm-hmm. I know that Akalon doesn't know about this because he doesn't play consoles. I've played the Wii U. I know exactly what they're trying to do. And let me tell you, okay? Look deep into my eyes. Nobody wants this. No. That's it.
I had a Wii U. We played drunk games on it, tennis mostly, and then I got bored of it. So
was that a Wii U or a Wii, though?
I don't know. What's the difference?
The Wii U has a tablet controller.
Oh, no. This one was the one with the little thing that's on your wrist and you...
Yeah, that's just the Wii. Okay?
Oh. That sucked too.
That's how bad the marketing was for Wii U that I said Wii U and you just referenced the Wii. That's great.
I mean, no one wants this. Please, Dreamhaven. If you're going to launch
normal methods
on console,
of controlling, okay? Normal methods of controlling.
If you're going to launch on console players are going to
they're going to use their phones. They can already use phones on console. Like there are certain games they use your phone as a controller.
But the thing is, console gamers are probably going to want to use their controller because why the fuck
I guarantee it. Yep, this is a terrible idea. Yep.
And on PC, we have mouse and keyboard. We don't need the shitty phone. And
here's the best part. On PC, most PC gamers not only have mouse and keyboard, they have a second screen. So it's like, if you really want that second screen experience you're selling to people with your phones, just let people put it on their second screen.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably where I'll play your game anyways. But what I will say, what I just thought about is it might be because it's a 4-player co-op. So their idea might be, even if you just have like 1 or 2 controllers and you want to play with 4 friends at the same time, the other 2 can play on mobile phone. So you can all sit in the same room. Because they do say it's a couch co-op. So the whole idea is that you're going to be playing it with other people at the same place, right? Like, I don't know why that would be a thing. Hopefully there is internet connectivity so I can actually play with my friends that isn't on my fucking couch, because I don't own a couch. I have not owned a couch for almost 10 years, so I'm not sure where my friends would sit even.
You need to buy a couch. Buy a couch, Aquilon.
No. Here's the problem. If you buy a couch, people think they're allowed to come visit you. If you don't have a couch, they know, well, I can't sit there. I can't come visit you. This is very, very clever.
So if somebody visits you in your home, you just grab like a little stool from the kitchen or something.
Yeah, I have like these plastic stools outside.
You're sitting on your gamer throne, and they're sitting next to you on a little stool. True.
That's how it works. But all right, look, keep an eye out for Thunderfolk. It's coming in 2025. It might be an interesting experience. We'll see what Dreamhaven can pull up, especially with the new book from Jason Schreier coming out about all the stuff that happened at Blizzard and why Mike Morhaime left. It's going to be very interesting to see, how all of this plays out and how Dreamhaven is run. And is Dreamhaven actually just going to go the same way as Blizzard? It's going to stick on the same shit.
It's funny because I remember when Diablo Immortal was announced, shortly after was when Mike Morhaime left, and I remember saying like, yep, this is it. Mike Morhaime lost the battle. He gave up. At the time, that's what I said, and people were like, oh no, blah, 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 blah. No, that's not the case. But then Mike Morhaime comes out and he makes Dreamhaven like instantly. The second that he was allowed to, he's like, yep, here's my new company, which tells you that it's like he didn't want to retire. He just lost control of Blizzard. That's what I hypothesized at the time, and it seems like that is what the book confirms from Jason Schreier, that he just lost the battle against Bobby Kotick.
Yeah. In keeping with Blizzard news, Overwatch 2. So you would know
that game's still alive?
Yeah, barely, but it is still there.
It's on Steam, right?
Yeah, I think
Let me see the Steam charts.
I think for most players, just a quick recap here of Overwatch 2. Overwatch
it's a piece
2,
of shit.
Yeah, it's not actually Overwatch 2. It's a misnomer. It's named completely wrong because it really is Overwatch 1.5.
No, see, that's where you're wrong. I knew you were going to make that mistake. It's not Overwatch 1.5. It's Overwatch 1.1. See, 1.5 would be like a major patch. 1.1 is like a small update. So
well, it's not even necessarily an update, because when Overwatch 2 was announced, it was announced that they're going from 6 people in a group to 5 people in a group. So you're now only 5 versus 5. And obviously there was a bit of graphical update, which wasn't groundbreaking, but it was a graphical update. But the big one was the PvE, right? This was the one that's going to have all the PvE stuff, and it's going to be almost like a single player experience. Then of course
I was gonna play Overwatch 2 because of the PvE, because that's what I wanted. But they canceled the PvE, and I was like, oh, so it's just Overwatch 1.
yeah. They canceled the PvE stuff. They said, no, we're not doing the PvE stuff anymore. And then last time I checked, I don't know, Overwatch players can actually tell me if this went through, but the last bit of news I received was that they're experimenting with taking the number of versus back to 6.
Yeah.
So it really is actually just Overwatch 1. Because there are no fucking differences between Overwatch 1 and Overwatch 1.
Let me tell you what it is. It is Overwatch 1 with more monetization.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what they wanted. They just listen, this Overwatch 1 thing is great, but we didn't really plan for like abusive monetization. So we need to improve on that. We're going to make Overwatch 2, and we're going to have all of the groundwork laid in to just fleece the fuck out of everybody. And that's what they did.
So really, where we are now in terms of the naming scheme, if we gave a true naming scheme, it would be Overwatch 1.0.1. So
Yes.
like really minor patch update to the overall game. But it's still kind of chugging along with very few players. What's the Steam charts on this?
It's got 75,000 all time, which, by the way, for Overwatch is very, very little.
Very poor.
41,000 24-hour peak and 21,000 playing an hour ago. Now, it is important to mention that a lot of people that do play Overwatch are probably doing so from the Battle.net launcher.
Blizzard. Yeah.
So, you know, we don't really know accurate numbers, but I would imagine it's not particularly healthy.
But that's still not healthy in terms of where you would want to be for a game that desperately requires active players, right? Because it's a free game. You can literally get it right now. But now, here's where things get really murky. When PvE was cancelled, there was like a cloud of smoke and mirrors around why this happened, why PvE had to be cancelled. And what we heard at the time was that PvE was cancelled because it just didn't work. They could never get PvE to actually work. It never felt good. And I remember going, what the fuck are you talking about? There are so many games that make it fucking work. How can you tell me you don't get what? There's Cyberpunk 2077. There even Call of Duty gets to make their campaigns at least fucking work, right? How can you say, oh wait, just doesn't work? Say, really? Have you even tried? Turns out that's not actually the reason. So Jason Schreier's newest book, because for those of you that didn't know, Jeff Kaplan, who was the guy behind Overwatch, shortly after
about Jeff Kaplan, I would just like to point out I did get to interview him at one point. He is a super nice guy. Super cool guy. Because, you know how some people, they perform for the interview or whatever, and then they're like, okay, interview's over. Fuck this shit. I'm done. No, he was genuinely interested after I had the interview. He wanted to talk more because at the time I was working with TGN and we were doing a lot of Overwatch coverage. And even after the interview, he was like, oh, no, we should talk some more. There's a couple of things I want to run by you. And it was me and a friend that was there with me, and we spoke with him a little bit more about Overwatch and some of the stuff that we thought was cool and whatnot. He was actually taking notes and shit. It was like, oh, yeah, you're right about that one thing. So Jeff Kaplan, I guarantee he's one of the real ones, 100%. Yeah. Jeff Kaplan, super cool dude.
Yeah. So he left shortly after PvE is canceled. And we're obviously told this is unrelated to any of that. But now it turns out the actual reason PvE was cancelled was poor sales. The game was just not really making money. And the first
but the
PvE
game wasn't
missions
out yet.
that they... Yeah, but no. The problem was the hype for the game, right? So the whole point was they're going to do these little PvE missions. I don't know if you remember, right?
Yeah. They're supposed to be replayable and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. They had these small little PvE missions that they were going to launch, and then it was going to go into the big PvE mode. Turns out the PvE missions that they launched didn't do shit. No one really signed up for them. No one was playing them. So Overwatch 2, at this point, looks, at least from Jason Schreier's book, because there's a whole list of shit. The reason we're not getting new TV series is while Blizzard is in talks with Netflix to make an Overwatch, World of Warcraft, and Diablo TV series, Blizzard decides to sue Netflix for Netflix poached one of their executives. And so Netflix just well, we're not going to make TV shows for you. Go fuck yourself. So that's now canned, right? No TV shows coming at all because Blizzard...
Imagine me suing you and then going but I'll see you on Friday, right?
That's literally it.
I'm going to sue you for defamation or something else, but I'll see you on Friday for the podcast, right?
That's genuinely where we are now, right? So it's just a mess. Overwatch seems, from the book at least. Now, I haven't read the book yet. I've seen excerpts from it, and I've seen people who have read it speak about it. The book makes it seem like Overwatch 2 it's done boys. It is not getting the traction that it's supposed to get.
Listen, Overwatch 2 was done the moment that Jeff Kaplan left. And one of the main reasons for that is because Jeff Kaplan was the one with the vision for Overwatch. He was the one who was leading that project. And not only that, but Jeff Kaplan was very much like Mike Morhaime. He was insulating Overwatch's team from the rest of the corporate bullshit inside Activision Blizzard. And the moment he left, that team was no longer insulated, and that team was just destroyed. It was instantly destroyed. They're like the guy, they put a guy in there and then instantly replaced him with another guy. They put somebody, okay, this person's now taking care of Jeff Kaplan, and then instantly replaced by another guy. And it's like, what are we doing? What it's like leadership complete incompetence. It's like you need a proper leader to do these things. And they just didn't have that. They straight up didn't have that.
See, but this is where things get super interesting. So Jeff Kaplan leaves Blizzard in 2021. Obviously, Overwatch 2 comes out in 2023. From the rumors that I've heard, this is still related to Jeff leaving the company. So according to the rumors, when Jeff found out that the entire existence of the PvE mode for Overwatch 2 is going to be reliant on the sale of the Overwatch 2 missions, he was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. There's a goal here, right? There's a place we want to go. We're working on releasing this as an actual MMO. Now you guys want to put up all these things where we have to sell X amount of PvE stuff in order to keep making PvE stuff. And for those of you that don't know, the game currently sits at 20% all time, mostly negative, right? So only about 20% of users say the game is positive, not even overwhelmingly positive, just it's a positive game. And in the most recent reviews, only 36% of users say that it was a mostly positive experience. The rest of the people are just like, no, terrible game. Right? That's Overwatch 2 for you.
You know what I was just reminding myself of? We're talking about Jeff Kaplan, and I was reminding myself of those streams that he used to do around Christmas, where it's just like Jeff Kaplan sitting in next to a fire, and he's got like his milk and cookies and shit. And it's like, I think it's like 5 hours or something like this, and he's just sitting in a chair, idling. And people will hear this. What do you mean? Like, because some people probably didn't watch these or they weren't exposed to it. Like, yeah, Jeff Kaplan, the game director of Overwatch, would just sit in a chair next to a fire, and he had like his milk and cookies, and he would drink a little bit of milk, eat a cookie, just like sit there, relax calmly. And it's a super weird thing, but that was the type of stuff that we would have when Blizzard was much more of like a family type company, you know, a family friendly company. And you used to get those vibes so much whenever you would get like, you know, a BlizzCon. You ever been to BlizzCon?
No.
God damn, dude, BlizzCon was so friggin' awesome. Like I went to BlizzCon. I forgot what year it was, but yeah, I went to BlizzCon, and you would just feel the energy, the community, and it was so amazing because you knew, okay, they're gonna work on something. Whatever they work on, they're gonna make it awesome. It's gonna be great, and God, I missed it. I just want to go back, man. I just want to go back to those days.
If you want to go back to the old Blizzard,
you can't.
To the glory days of Blizzard.
It's over. That's over.
No. Blizzard have you, bro. They know exactly what you want.
Oh, no.
And they have already planned for this. Rickon, are you ready? Because Overwatch Mobile is coming. It's happening, bro.
No. You were the chosen one.
It's coming, bro. You're going to finally be able to play that shit shoot on your mobile phone.
Dude, you know what it's like? Like, you know, you've lived to be 40, and you see two of your favorite things be completely fucking obliterated over the years. Those two things for me were Star Wars and Blizzard Entertainment. Because I don't want to talk about no fucking Activision Blizzard. I want Star Wars and Blizzard Entertainment. And Disney has fucked Star Wars into the dirt. I can't even go watch Star Wars anymore because it's all garbage. And then Blizzard's also, you know, Activision Blizzard has fucked every Blizzard property into the dirt. Like,
Yeah.
god damn, bro, what the fuck? I'm so sad. I'm just sad.
I mean,
I'm depressed. I want to go back, man. I want to go back.
I have no doubt that Overwatch Mobile is going to make a crazy amount of money. Just like Call of Duty Mobile is making a crazy amount of money.
100%.
Because fundamentally, what you have to understand, from a mobile gamer's perspective, the quality that these AAA studios can produce on mobile is so far and above anything that mobile studios can produce. Just so far above it. Because, well, they have way more resources and they're actually in the business of trying to make decent games. So they kind of get what they at least bare minimum have to do. I've spoken to people who've played Call of Duty Mobile and they said it's a pretty solid experience. It's a pretty good experience to play on mobile. I just hate the fact that it's on fucking mobile. I remember a time when your phone was genuinely just for phone calls. And I wish we could go back to that. Let's bring back the flip phone. I hate the new phones. On to, I don't know if this is definitely bad news, but
is it?
I want to hear your thoughts before I say anything else. So Red Dead Redemption 1, very old game, obviously, just announced coming to Steam, kind of out of nowhere, although everyone knew it was coming. The exact when was a little bit of a who knows. So it's announced that it is coming to Steam. Only it's launching at $49.99. So $50 for the Steam version of this game.
Does it include the DLC?
I'm not sure. I'm genuinely not sure. It should, because it is technically a remake, remaster kind of thing. It's made now for PC, so I highly doubt that they're gonna be like,
if it's
you buy the DLC separate.
Here's where I am. If it's properly optimized, I think that's fine. The original Red Dead Redemption is worth $50 today if you've never played it 100%. And if
I've never played it, so I really want to play it.
Wait for a sale. Did you play 2? Red Dead Redemption 2?
Oh, dude, did I play 2? I played the fuck out of that. That game.
Then you'll probably love 1 as well. 1 was great. I played the crap out of that game. So yeah, it's like,
I just feel like
$50
is tight though for an old ass game. That is a lot of money.
It's one of the timeless classics. Like, I don't have a big issue with the price of that game personally. I know that for a lot of people that's going to be a problem because it is an older game. But if it is, again, this is assuming that their performance is going to be good. It's not going to run like shit. If it is going to run good and it's going to have like updated visuals, because the game looked gorgeous back on the PlayStation 3. It'll probably look friggin' phenomenal on PC. So 50 bones. I think that's fine. Now, the thing is, you're going to get like a bunch of discounts on Steam anyways. Just pick it up on a sale. Cause it's like, the game is what? Friggin' 10 years old more? I think it's more than 10 years old at this stage. It's probably like friggin' 15 years old. I'm gonna look it up just out of curiosity. Red Dead Redemption release. Give me a second. Redemption release. This game came out in 14 years ago. It's a 14-year-old game. But it's a really good game. So I understand that for a lot of people, it's like, look, this game came out 14 years ago. You've waited 14 years. You can wait a couple of months for a Steam sale. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
So, to me, I think that's fine.
The graphics look decent. It's not anywhere near the Red Dead Redemption 2 graphics, but I don't think anyone was expecting that. It says here that featuring the complete single-player experiences of both games. So this project includes the digital version of Red Dead Redemption and Undead Nightmare for PC.
So it does have the DLC. Okay.
Yeah, it seems like it, So yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know, it feels, you see, the thing is, as someone who played Red Dead Redemption 2, I will obviously buy 1. Because fuck me was too good. Like, 2, arguably the best RPG I've ever played. Just in terms of what that game allows for you to do. The open world is phenomenal. The environment is phenomenal. The feeling, you genuinely feel like a fucking cowboy in that game. Like,
yeah, it's incredible.
no
it's an
other way.
incredibly immersive game. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I want to play one. So for me, the price seems steep, but I'll still pay it because I want to play the game. But I'm thinking of people who maybe have never played Red Dead. They're looking at these graphics. They're going, dude, this game doesn't look that good. And it's $50 for this. This seems tight, right? I mean, I guess the argument should be how many people have never played Red Dead Redemption 2?
Yeah, that's the thing is, there's a lot of people that have always wanted to play Red Dead 1 on PC. I know this for a fact because, like, I've heard from friends of mine, even back when I had already played it on PlayStation 3, they're like, oh man, I can't wait for it to come on PC. We're talking like over 10 years ago that these people have been waiting. So it's like, look, it's come to PC. Is it expensive? Yes. Would you rather it not come to PC or come to PC at this price? That's the one question that you got to ask yourself. Yeah. Now, of course, we have the power, like we've mentioned earlier in the thing. If you don't want to buy it for $50, guess what, Akalon? You shouldn't. You have the power. That's true. You have the power. You can wait for a discount and then buy it at a discount. And guess what? Probably, if that happens, Rockstar will reconsider releasing a 14-year-old game at $50. Which, well, I do think, like I said, I think it's worth $50. It's a really good game. Because there's a lot of hours of entertainment there. If the visuals are going to be updated, all of that good stuff, it's going to be a phenomenal experience for most people involved. If you think it's too expensive, don't buy it. Guess what? I'm not buying it. I already played it. I'm good. I paid $50 for it back in 2010.
I will buy it just because if it, like I said, if it's anything like Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm all in on this game.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I feel like it could always be, because you know who does this quite often? CD Projekt Red loves doing this. They've been doing this with Witcher since basically its launch, where The Witcher 3 is a $60 game, right? You pay $60 for the game. Almost no one I've ever spoken to that has played Witcher 3 and own it has paid $60 for the game.
Yeah, of course.
Because it is almost always on discount. Like, almost always on discount. There's another game that does this literally, and they've admitted it. I think it's Rust, that they purposefully made the game more expensive than what they were ever going to sell it for. But that's because when you click on the game on Steam, you always see 20% off, and this makes you think, oh man, I have to buy it now.
I'm gonna check right now how much is Rust right now, because I don't own it.
I think it's Rust. I could be wrong, but it's one of these types of games that's pretty much almost always.
I hope it's not
sale.
Ark, because Ark is a scam. That game is a goddamn scam.
No. It's one of these lesser known.
It's not on sale, Akalon. It's €40.
But it is one of these lesser known games. Like I said, I think it might be Rust. It could be one of the other ones. But it's also a massive indie title. But it is always on sale. They spoke about this.
Yeah, see?
The CEO spoke about this.
Ark, on the other hand, is on discount.
Yeah, but I know for a fact it was an Ark. I know for a fact it is an Ark because I don't play Ark. I've played Rust.
And
I actually bought Rust on...
If you're going to take an advice from me, you should never play Ark, okay? You should never, ever give them your money. Yeah, don't give them... Like, I'm not even joking. Those developers are actual scammers. They're straight up scammers. Because, like, they released their game, and then they're like, we're going to fix it, guys. It's going to be great. And then suddenly, they released the DLC for that game, and they just didn't fix. They're like, oh, and if you want the fixed version, you need to get this DLC, because this is what we're working on from now on. Then people got that DLC, and then they're like, actually, fuck all that. We're making a new version, and we're getting rid of the old version, and you have to buy this new version. And it's like, bro, y'all are scammers. Absolute scammers. Straight up. Yeah.
Nice. Another company that does a similar thing would be Oxygen Not Included from Clay Entertainment. They tend to have they don't put the game that often on discount, but what they do is they have the game for like super cheap, maybe like $10 or some shit, and then you can buy the bundle with all of the DLC for like 20% off, 30% off. I've seen it as high as 40% off. So it is a viable strategy, and it's something that Rockstar could probably look into, because everyone knows when you see the X off, so as soon as you see there's a percentage off, there is this sort of thing in your brain that goes, ooh, I this is a bargain. I have to buy this now.
I have to buy it now. Yeah, there is that.
So it's a very clever way of doing it, if that is what Rockstar wants to do.
What do they call? I think it's impulse buying, because you're very vulnerable when you're trying to make a purchasing decision, and they just hit you with that minor discount, and then you're like, oh, it's discounted right now. I should get it.
Yeah, and you have a timer count. If you really want to come back, you have a count that timer. free for the 50% off for the next 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
I need to buy it right now.
I need to pick this sucker up. And then it's like the 2 hours go by, and it's like, now it's 51% discounted for the next 2 hours. And then those come back, and it's like, now it's 49% discounted for the next 2 hours.
Yeah.
Price
but yeah, okay, so
dude.
Yeah, I mean, it is a viable strategy, and as long as the game is good and the game delivers, I think that's brilliant. So let's see what they do with this. Talking about pricing, because we've discussed pricing quite a bit here today, so we should probably talk about NVIDIA's pricing. I know we had This Is Lost, because we're not really a tech review channel or podcast, but it is, I mean, fuck.
What is happening right now is the situation that I've been calling out for the longest time, wherein everybody is buying NVIDIA GPUs and they never buy AMD. Mm-hmm. And I understand why people don't buy AMD. Don't get me wrong. It's because AMD is more annoying. Like, I even have a recent example wherein I was about to live stream, and so I'm like, oh, there's a driver update. Surely nothing can go wrong if I just update real quick before I start my stream.
Oh, wow.
Except this one driver update for my NVIDIA GPU very specifically would not work with Monster Hunter World, which is the game that I was going to stream.
Oh, wow.
So it was like, I updated and then I try running the game. It's like, oh crap, the game doesn't run now. And I knew that the only thing that had changed was the driver update. So I was like, ugh. Did something go wrong with driver update? Let me do a clean driver installation. So I go and I do the whole thing where reset the factory settings for clean driver installation, blah, 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 do all of that, launch the game again, nothing. I was like, okay, so it is the driver. Then I go and I try to install the other driver, crashes. And then I'm like, oh, it looks like it installed it. Then I try running the game again, still not working because the drivers are like stuck in limbo between one version and the other. And I was like, oh, this is great. So I actually had to go and find there's like a cleaning utility to actually remove every trace of the driver, do that, and then downgrade back to the previous version of the driver so that I could go play Monster Hunter World. So it's like, I understand why people don't want to deal with some of AMD's bullshit. But at the same time, if you just keep buying Team Green every single time, you're going to eventually get fucked. And that is coming. Because according to this leak that we've seen...
I just want to... You're underselling it when you say fucked. Rurocon's about to release some pricing to you guys, according to rumors. And fucked would be where you would buy them flowers if that is all that they were going to do to you. They're getting ready with some barbed wire dildos, my friend.
No. Listen, they're about to give you the P. Diddy special. That's what they're about to do. They got the baby oil in the back. They're just, yeah. Come in. No, let us tell you all about our 5080 and our 5090 series. The future of visuals, which is always, once again, all about the RTX. The rays of the tracing of the rays, the ray tracing, bro.
Yeah.
That eats your frame rate every time. But okay.
Yeah.
So they're basically saying, again, according to the leak, and this is a leak, so take it with a grain of salt, the NVIDIA RTX 5090 is rumored to cost between $1999. That's
$2,000 fucking
$2,000, or $24.99, which is $2,500, which is absolutely ridiculous. Now,
that is insane.
I want you to understand one thing, because this is one of the things that I've definitely noticed from people in the US. They're completely oblivious of the pricing structures in other countries. Okay. So let me tell you something. Number one, the euro is more expensive than the dollar. At least it was last time I checked. So let's actually do a very quick conversion here. So $1 is actually, let's do it the other way around because it makes it easier for people to understand. €1 is 1.0. Actually, they're almost 1-to-1 right now. Interesting. Yeah. Okay, so they're almost 1-to-1 right now. Not quite, but almost there. 1.08. But regardless of that, the euro is still a little bit more than the dollar. But the point here is, to give you guys an idea, right? We're talking about these prices for the future cars that are going to come out, right? 2,500 and 1,500 for the 4080, right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you how much a 4090 for a 5080. Yeah. Let me tell you how much a 4090 costs in Portugal right now. 2,400 euro. Okay. A 4080 already costs the price. A 4090, I mean, a 4090 already costs the price of the 5090, which means that when we get the 5090 here in Portugal, it's going to be easily 3,000 euro.
Yeah, because they do say the prices exclude taxes.
Yeah, which for reference, okay, this is how much I paid for my computer. The whole thing. All right?
Bro, it is nuts.
The 5090 is going to cost 3,000 euros easy. Yeah. It's not even like more. You know.
Because remember, these cards, I just want to say, before you even, it's going to cost way over $3,000 to launch. Because remember, this is MSRP. Yeah. So this is the recommended selling price. Guaranteed. Day one sales, we're going to have some kind of fucking effect, because it always happens where there's not enough stock. So what's going to happen is scalpers are going to drive up the price. Then all of this, the companies that sell the shit is going to have to follow suit because they don't want to sell for cheaper. So dude, this might be the first time we get cards that break the 4,000 mark, where you're just gonna have to pay $4,000 for. I don't
think it'll break the $4,000. I don't think it will. I think it might break the 3,000 in some of them.
Here's
but I don't
why
think you're breaking 4,000.
Let me give you my logic. We had the 4090, right? Was MSRP for I think $1,500. That was supposed to be the MSRP for it.
Yeah, and it's $1,000 more in where I live.
But here's the problem: when it launched, it broke $3,000. At one point, people were charging over $3,000.
Yeah, but that was the crypto boom.
Well, not. I mean, according to Linus Tech Tips in the most recent news, it wasn't even the crypto. So there was the silicon shortage bullshit that happened during the COVID stuff. But it was also just the fact that NVIDIA doesn't produce enough of these cards day one to keep up with demand.
Of course.
And so they keep raising the price in order to get demand down.
It's like,
so
listen,
you could easily.
This is like the diamonds. You know how the diamonds work, right? Because you're in Africa, you know all about this shit. So it's like the way the diamonds work is that a lot of people think diamonds are rare. It's like, no, the diamonds are not rare at all. The thing is, they're keeping them all locked up, and they only release a couple of diamonds into the economy, which maintains their rarity and maintains their value.
It's
so that's
not
what
even
they're doing
that.
with GPUs.
I know personally of about 8 or 9 diamond mines in South Africa that have never operated. Yeah. The diamonds are there. Literally, you can almost pick them up from the fucking ground. You can go with a shovel and you'd get a couple of diamonds. But they don't open the mines because it would flood the market with too many diamonds. So they don't need to open them up.
So diamonds are a product of artificial scarcity. And in a way, NVIDIA is doing the same thing. In a way, Nintendo did the same thing when they launched the Switch.
Yeah. 100%.
So it's like, it's artificial scarcity that inflates value. So of course. Yeah. That's of course what they're going to do. And
this is going to be super bad.
Listen, the 4080 in Portugal is also the cheapest one you can find is like close to 1,200 euro. So it's like, these are already grossly overpriced in other countries.
Yeah.
This is why I feel like there's a disconnect whenever people start telling me about like, oh, I can make a super cheap PC. Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, motherfucker, okay, shut the fuck up. It's like, maybe in your country, you're stealing some pieces off the back of a truck or something. Let me tell you something. You are not making that PC in Europe. That much I can fucking guarantee you.
But I think, you know what? Let NVIDIA continue. Because I think they're about to run into, at some point, they're going to price it to where they've literally priced out the majority of people from the market. Where most people...
And the worst...
I'm out, by the way. At $2,000 for a graphics card, I'm not willing to pay that for a graphics card.
Oh, yeah. No. Hell no. That's the reason... Willing. That's the reason why I didn't buy a 4090 when I made my most recent PC. I was like, you're fucking crazy. $2,000 for a GPU? You're insane. You're absolutely insane. Your mind, your brain's just not working. So, but this is the problem that we are now getting, which is because people so overwhelmingly bought the NVIDIA GPUs. What is happening now is they have a complete monopoly on the market, pretty much, because very few. I think that AMD accounts for less than 1%. And by the way, my 2 gaming rigs, they're AMD. So it's like, I'm sitting over here.
You're part of the 1%.
I'm part of the 1%. And it's just like, it's never going to change. We're in a situation where it's just straight up not going to change. Now, AMD is not blameless in this, because AMD has fucked up as well, because they've even said, oh, we're getting out of the high-end GPUs. And I was like, well, what the fuck, bro? Why the fuck did I just buy your GPU like last year? I bought a 7900 XTX. Like, what the fuck do you mean you're getting out of the business? Fuck you guys too. It's like, to me, it's fucking both. Fuck AMD and fuck NVIDIA, because they can't get their shit together. And this is the situation that we're in right now. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't think AMD will be able to compete with NVIDIA until AMD fix their software. Because you just shared your story, and it's been a thing with AMD for years now.
And it's like, I know how to downgrade GPU drivers. Yeah. That doesn't mean that everybody's going to know how to do that. It's not hard. I'm not saying it's complicated or anything like that, but for a lot of people, they plug it in, they hit the update button, and they play their video game. That's it. That's the amount of effort they're willing to put in. Which is, but it's and by the way, this is a normal thing. This should be what is expected for shit to just work, but it never does. And that is a problem. AMD does have a problem with that. But at the same time, you know, fucking NVIDIA is being giga anti-consumer by just being like, yep, these GPUs are worth $3,000. Man, fuck you and your $3,000 GPU. Get the fuck out of here, bro. GPUs back in the day used to cost like, it would be 400 euros for like a close to top of the line GPU.
You realize I bought my 3080. My 3080 that I still have to this day. I paid $699.
Yeah.
$699 US. And even then, I was like, this is quite a pricey. It's quite expensive. But I'm happy to buy it because it was one of the best cards at the time. Yeah. And at that point, the 3090 was going for $1,000. Right? And I was like, I'm not paying $1,000. That's nuts. Who would buy that? Now, you can't even get a fucking 5080 for $1,000.
You can't even get a 3090 for $1,000. Like, let me tell you what a 3090 costs out here. It's probably going to be something ridiculous if I can even find it. If there even is one, because they're like super rare. But let me see. Yeah. The 3090 is going for... they don't even have it. They didn't even have one. It just doesn't exist anymore. Wait, there is one here. No, this is 3060, 4070, 3090... Wait, what? This can't be right. 200 euros? Yeah, right. This is probably a scam. Oh, it's from AliExpress. Yeah, I'm sure this is a 3090.
It is. Yeah, you can buy that.
I was like, 200 euros for a 3090. Oh, it's AliExpress. That makes sense.
All right, so you want to know...
Yeah, go ahead.
How much dollars a 4090 is in South Africa.
How much? The one-
2,610 US dollars.
Yeah, that's about as much as it costs over here. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Pretty
Yeah.
much.
It is disgusting. So you can imagine you're going to pay in South Africa, I'm probably going to pay about $4,000 for the 5090.
I found a proper 3090 here. It's 1,300 euros. 1,300. Okay? And there's a refurbished one for 925.
What the fuck? Dude,
So you're saying
some
to me,
places
like,
are just
the
come back,
30
man.
the 3090 was over $1,000 back in the day. Guess what? It hasn't changed. Oh god. This is hilarious.
I don't know where we're ending with this. Like, I genuinely don't know where this is ending because it doesn't seem like
It's gonna price people out. Basically, it's where we're ending. So yeah,
Yeah.
people are gonna get priced out of the market, and NVIDIA will hopefully crash. The problem is, very much like when I complained about this 5 years ago about video games, people were still buying. So NVIDIA's like,
Yeah.
well, fuck it, I'm selling. Fuck these people. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if little Timmy doesn't get to play his video games. Fuck little Timmy. Little Timmy doesn't
Yeah.
have $2,000 to put to my GPU. That's it.
Mhm.
And that I'm just hoping that eventually people go like, no, actually, fuck you. I'm not giving you my money anymore. I'm done. I want to see what happens then. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it is, dude. It's fucking nuts. It is actually. It makes me a bit sick because there's going to be fuckers who buy this.
Oh yeah,
You just not.
I'm probably gonna buy another 7900. Fuck it.
Yeah, you may as well.
Because I think
if it's not
they're
gonna work, it's not gonna work.
I think they're going to lower the prices on those, if I'm not mistaken, because they said they're getting out of the market. So it's going to be a bit of a gamble, but they're sitting over here for like $1,100. Even that, no, this is not updated prices yet though, but because I think these prices are going to change. But yeah, it's like I'm saying, I still might just double down and go AMD again because I'm going to need a new GPU for Monster Hunter.
Yeah. But okay, so on to we only have two things left here. The one, well, I don't think we're gonna have too much to say about this, other than there's a rumor currently that Concord is coming back as free to play. So I guess we'll finally get to taste the theory of whether or not it was the pricing model, that held back this game.
I'm just thinking to myself, I'm looking at Sony going like, oh man, we just wasted $400 million.
Yeah.
And now they turn around to their audience and they go like, you want to see me do it again?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, look at how hard we just fucked up with this game.
Yeah.
Want to see us do it again?
What's going to be very interesting for me is this is going to give us an opportunity to see just how connected they are to their audience. If they're smart, they immediately remove all of the pronouns from the game. Just get rid of that because it opens the door for contention.
Never going to happen.
You'd be surprised how quickly they might learn once the money starts to scream.
And like I said, pronouns isn't even the biggest problem. Biggest
but
problem
in
is the
this
way that the
instance-
characters look. The
Yeah, but in
characters
this
just look
instance,
bad.
yeah, but in this instance, I don't mind the pronouns. I just think you want the game to succeed now, right? This is the moment where the last thing you want is a reason for people not to play the game. And pronouns is just the reason for a bunch of people to say, no, I don't want to play this.
You're saying that they would be willing to drop their performative virtue signaling in favor of money?
Yeah, I think so. Because they only do this for money. They think that they're going to make money. So we'll see, right?
It's hilarious.
We'll see what they learn. Like I said, it's going to be an interesting little experiment to see if they actually realize pronouns are bullshit and no one actually gives a fuck. Not even the people that claim to care about pronouns give a fuck. So that's going to be interesting. are we going to see some character remakes? Because I'm with you. As far as what I think the major reason for the failure is, it's the Euros that look stupid as fuck. There's not a single Euro that looks good to play in that game. So are they going to actually rework those Euros? Maybe remove all the fat people from the game that would not be able to play that game?
You can have fat people. They just
if
got to
they're
be
dwarfs.
Cool. No, it's not even just dwarfs. There's cool fat people in some games. There's got to be
Gragas,
cool.
And Gragas is already in League of Legends.
Yeah, but Gragas is cool, and he's fat.
But Gragas is cool because he's a drunken fuckhead. That's why he's cool.
But he's cool. That's the point. So it's like you can have fat characters, but they got to be cool. The problem is that you have fat characters. They're fat and they're not cool. Like you see, like you and me, we're fat, but we're cool. So that's fine.
I wouldn't call myself cool, but I appreciate the shout out.
No, but it's like, but it is true. Like we're fat. If we were just fat, people wouldn't watch this.
True. Although maybe they're watching because look at these two fat losers, entertaining us.
They're like, they're feeling better about themselves, which is fine.
Yeah,
if that's the reason you watch, that's cool, man. I don't discriminate. I don't give a fuck.
Let us know in the comment section down below why you watch. But, okay, so Concord going free to play. We'll have more news as soon as there's more rumors or if there's anything official to happen. And then the final thing, and again, I don't think there's too much to say about this one, but I thought it is interesting because we did discuss this literally last week. FIFA is partnering with Konami. They just signed the deal. Now, this is not actually... Originally, when I saw this, I was like, Konami? What the fuck?
Konami
but then I
has
realized,
Pro Evolution
Konami...
Soccer.
They already do a soccer game. They've just never been able to do it official because... EA owned the license to FIFA.
Yeah.
Now they will be able to do now I don't know how PES has changed over time. It used to be that PES would sometimes not have the right names for the people because they couldn't get all of the licensing.
Yeah, but
stuff like that.
The thing is, if you're talking gameplay wise, there were times where FIFA was a little bit better, and there were times where Pro Evolution Soccer was a little bit better. Those two kind of went back and forth. And then in the later years, I think that FIFA was just overwhelmingly dominant, and Pro Evolution Soccer barely even did anything. Was my understanding.
But I think the reason for that makes sense, right? From Konami's perspective, they could never get all of the licensing. Because you can imagine, right? You can either get the licensing from FIFA for all of the club names and all of the players, or you have to individually go buy all of those fucking licenses for everyone so it's going to it's just going to be far more expensive, right? To do so. And sadly, the bad thing here is if you want to play, people who like these sports games, they buy them because they want to play their favorite soccer team. Right? And they want to know that if I'm playing with Ronaldo, it is Ronaldo and not Ribaldo, right? Even if it is Ribaldo, it's not Ronaldo, and that's who I want to play with.
Christopher Ribaldo.
Yeah, Christopher Ribaldo. He looks exactly like Cristiano Ronaldo, except he has long hair.
It's Christopher, yeah.
Yeah.
legally distinct Cristiano Ronaldo.
Exactly that, right? So obviously they suffered. Now that they have the FIFA partnership, it would be interesting to see how much effort they're willing to put into that game, right? Because they have the opportunity now to basically become the next EA when it comes to soccer games. They don't, as far as I know at least, they don't have the scumbag Ultimate Team bullshit that EA has.
Oh, they're
in Pro Evolution Soccer.
They're 100% going to do it. Like, they're going to do some mode of that. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But maybe they surprise us. Lol.
They surprise us, like, as in, it's worse than that.
That's
the surprise. Yeah. You were thinking you're going to get a stale sandwich, but you're getting a shit sandwich. That's the surprise.
Yeah. Exactly. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, we'll keep you guys abreast of all of the changes and all of the news in the gaming industry as it comes out. That's it for the show. I know it's not as long of a show. Genuinely, there hasn't been that much happening. I could actually say to you guys, until about a day ago, there was no fucking news in the gaming industry. Like, and I know because I have a gaming news channel and I had no videos to make. I was sitting there going, dude, what the fuck is going on? Like, where's the news? So there's finally a little bit of news, which is good because otherwise me and Rurikon would literally just have been sitting here, I don't know, licking our asses.
I'm sure we could.
Shit.
Whoa! I'm not doing that. I'm not giving you a rim job. What the hell?
On
bro?
camera, you mean?
No, what? I'm doing that never. What the fuck, dude? You're gonna give me pink eye. I'm not doing that shit. Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah. Look, guys, it's fun. It's fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. As always, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Be good to each other. Be kind to each other. Rurikon, thank you so much as always for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see all of you in the next one. Peace.